good evening, good morning, good night, you lovelies. It is the one, the only Cabby D Bar, and we're here to discuss the best story of all time. One Piece! Chapter 1182. I hope everyone is having a great one. However you catch this, whenever you catch this. There isn't a lot exactly, for a prelude to go into this chapter. I normally even discuss the notes, right? There's nothing really here. It's Fujitora eating a bowl of noodles, ramen, prepared by a fox. That's that. That's that. Maybe the fox is a mink. Between me and you, though, I don't think it is. I don't think the fox is a mink at all. The title of this, again, we have to understand that this is the official translation, but what we get officially for this chapter cover is Zaza. Now, apparently Zaza is a kind of piece of Japanese lore, a rain god. It is in Japanese folklore by the name of Kyokia, or shall I say Kurokami. Yes, Kurokami. It's a dragon. It's like a large thing. There's also Rajin, which is the god of lightning and thunder. So this isn't something I'm exactly familiar with, like a four-armed deity. There is a story about in the Caribbean of the tale of hurricanes. That's more or less what this gives me. It's like the story is that apparently slave, while she was escaping, she jumped into the ocean, and all of her trauma and her anger, it formed this massive beast. That's a little bit more what I'm familiar with when we are gonna see what we see. I don't want to spoil anything exactly, but I think it's all gonna make sense when we get to it. All right, best believe. There's nothing really else to discuss except cracking into this chapter. There's nothing else really to get to. We open up this chapter with Emu and Loki boxing, throwing them one. It's great. You love to see it. Loki putting up a pretty valiant effort against Emu. Hey, not gonna hold y'all. Easy top five shit right there. I had an interesting thought that I wonder if you wanted to recreate that that famous fight that happened on the unnamed island that kind of looked like Winter's Island with Roger and Whitebeard, right? The strongest of that generation and the strongest man in the world. I know those two titles kind of conflict with each other. One is the king of the pirates. Presumably he is supposed to be the strongest person out of everybody, right? But Whitebeard was proclaimed to be the strongest person in the world. So, or maybe even the strongest man, right? Listen, we're not going to get into the weeds here. I wonder, who you would put here, right? Just on that basis. But on top of that, right, to extrapolate on that thought, I don't think you could have this kind of, a new age version of that clash with the strongest of this generation in the quote unquote king of the pirates, Luffy, right? But maybe even something bigger than that, because some would argue maybe Shanks is more closer to Roger than Luffy. Again, weeds. We're getting into the weeds here. You can't create that without Loki, right? Loki is such an insanely strong person, and I think him even having the showing with Emu like this, it's very impressive. We open up this chapter called Zaza with Emu huffing and puffing, all right, coughing, all right, asking who can tap next to rotation. Listen, this is a very, very strong showing for Loki, all right? I'm not going to sit here and cap on that. There's no agenda that can take away from Loki. Honestly, I even like the idea of them clashing, right? Emu, after a little bit of banter, they call Loki a traitor. Now that could either mean two things. That could either mean Loki betrayed Emu, or Loki is kind of like taunting Needhawk for betraying Joy Boy, just like Zunisha. I'm not really sure exactly what that means really, but it's interesting. Definitely an interesting piece of dialogue. Emu flies into the sky, and they release an attack called the Tsi Miti, right? Basically just a Nova Eclipse bomb. That's what the translation says, at least. A massive ring, like their halo with the emu eyes, appears in the sky. Super fucking man. Hey guys, I know some of the fandom out there with some of your original characters like, my original character can take Thrag, my original character can take Goku. If my original character's seen this, I'm gone. Sorry. Hey, this is horrifying. This is fucking horrifying. Listen, and I love that Emu is, he's not playing to fuck around. I do want to comment briefly on, for 2 seconds, like 2-second diatribe. They're gonna really hammer down the whole no, Emu's a guy. So who the fuck is Princess Lily? Who the fuck is is Princess Lily just like his shorty? Because I'm gonna let you niggas know right now, if the finale of this is just a love triangle from 900 years ago, Oda. Ooh, I pray this shit is just not a love triangle from 900 years ago. I'm gonna put that in the box, and I'm not gonna talk about it. Okay, we're gonna put that in the box. We're not gonna talk about it. So as I said though, Emu, very impressive showing from him. Loki, he immediately counters with an attack called Ragna 5 Arrows. It is a scatter attack. This scatter attack, basically, it is a very good counter to all of Emu's attacks. It has like the omen faces on all of them, which I think is very cool. That's good. Again, just showing that the prowess from Emu is not only highly defensive, highly offensive, much variety in everything that it can do. Listen, I like the idea that Emu at any point in time can just pull from this bag of tricks, right? And this bag of tricks really kind of rivals Toon Force, in my humble opinion. Really rivals Toon Force, but maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me being crazy. All I will say is that my Dark Nika agenda, all right, my Dark Nika agenda Starks are rising. They're rising. Okay. All right. Yeah, but listen, even how Emu interacts with, Ragnir, or more specifically Radiscure, like the ice squirrel, saying that it's always going to need a master, same as it always has. And, I appreciate, the kind of, the taunting, the real dickish heel nature of Emu, if you would. But, this skill of just freezing things ice solid, if Usopp had this, it wouldn't be that impressive, would it? Like, if Usopp could just turn niggas into blocks of ice off of like touching them, is that like maybe if this squirrel was in Usopp's slingshot, maybe. And I'm just using Usopp as an example of like maybe one of the weakest people who can like have this fruit, because what is this fruit gonna do by itself? You know what I'm like? I don't know. It's not like the lines fall flat. And again, this is a different translation, so you have to take everything with a bit of a grain of salt. But I don't know. I'm just curious exactly what Emu meant by that, because I mean it's a squirrel. It's a nice, like, it's a squirrel. I don't know. Emu does glaze Loki a little bit, saying that the creation of lightning is simply just ice colliding together, which scientifically correct. So saying that there's basically a match made in harmony, right? Like a match made in heaven. I would like to see a lot more of this exact interaction that Emu is referencing, but everything that we've gotten from Loki is fine. But if you are going to get into like the scientific weeds of everything, Loki's like kind of fucking cracked. Like Loki's kind of cracked if you really get into it. But again, that's my sci-fi brain going off on 49. That's just my sci-fi brain going off on 50. Okay. Yeah, but there's really good clash, and it has a really good backdrop for everything else that we have to deal with for the rest of this chapter. It's just this massive forest fire with all these black flames and all this other. It's so dope. So fucking dope. Not gonna hold you. We flash to Bonnie's group, we flash to Sanji's group. We see Frankie, Bonnie, and Lilith, right? Now Lilith is trying to put all the pieces together, as she should. And they kind of more or less tease Bonnie and Emu saying, oh, I'd never find anything that scary after, the pages and pages and fucking websites filled with, the Bonnie Gear 5 theory. So, it's one of those things we just gotta take it again, grain of salt. It's most likely going to happen, if not this chapter, then another arc or another chapter. There's no question about that. Not this chapter. Christ. If not this arc, then another arc. If not the next couple of chapters, then in the next other couple of it's on the way. I'm letting all you know that right now. Like Luffy will be pulling a Naruto moment with Gear 5, and I'm not gonna hold y'all with the stakes that Emu be playing with the whole Daimyo Reverse. I'm gonna fucking take over and do an entire world dominion dominate. Hey, whatever Luffy got to do to get shit done, he needs to do it. All right, expeditiously. I'm not even gonna fucking cap on that. I would really love if Killingham would stop taunting my goat. Yeah, because apparently while Sanji was down, licking his wounds, and by the way, he looked so cold, knocked out, so cold. All right, listen, Sanji just has a way of making everything look good. All right, it is what it is. He's reminiscing on Killingham, basically taunting him, saying like, man, you're still alive. That's crazy. You should not be alive right now. Anyway, I'm gonna finish kidnapping the kids. These niggas are dead ass running like the fucking Marijois files around this bitch. I don't know what this infatuation is with the children of Elbaf. It already failed. Listen, this is just a Punk Hazard arc all over again. We know how this ends. Listen, do you think Oda is about to let these niggas really kidnap these children? Really? He didn't even let Mocha die. Come on, nigga. We gotta start being serious, chat. Chat, we gotta start being serious eventually. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but basically, after Sommers, he gets up, and he's like, no, there's no time for dilly-dallying. I have to protect this island, not only for me and my sake, not even to prove my father wrong, not only for my Nakama and Luffy and Usopp, because the bitches is here. Because the bitches is here. That's all Sanji is thinking about, is the biddies, the huz, the baddies. Sanji knows that there's big baddies around here. Not gonna hold him. I get it. I get it, Sanji. I understand. I understand, Sanji. The world may not understand Sanji, but I do. All right. We see Sommers. He crashes onto this. Next thing that we'll be discussing in this chapter is Biblo, the massive owl. We see him in a underground tunnel underneath the library. He is discovered by Robin and Sal, and basically what Saul has to say is they're summed up to, nigga, you got some questions. Like, nigga, you got some questions to answer, right? There's a lot of mysterious shit going on with Biblo. He might be a Zoan. He might be, a really ancient mink. Maybe. Anything is possible, chat. Anything is possible. Listen, I definitely think the coolest thing about Biblo is that it preserved all of Elbaf's knowledge. So whatever dipshit Holy Knight flies through in these gates, to double check that they, did what they were supposed to and removed all of the, education from Elbaf, they'll be tricked, duped, and fooled, maybe half dead from a King of Hell attack. That's not spoilers for what happens later in this chapter, but who knows. So yeah, we see Chopper. We see my nigga Chopper. We see him shortly after Super Sommers lands on a boat saying that, we must complete the Marijois files. There's nothing really too important there. Call himself Super Sommers. Pretty funny. Pretty fucking funny, not gonna hold y'all. But basically this is all just a lead in, so we can get the rest of the fighting force, if you would, and the rest of the new giant pirates. Gerd is here, and Chopper says that because it was a clean break, her fingers should reattach in a couple of months. Oda, come here for a second. So you remember that thing about stakes that we were just talking about a little bit ago in this chapter, Oda? And how that can make or break story arcs and the overall kind of atmosphere of a story. Fuck's going on? Fuck is going on, Oda? I would like answers. I would like some fucking answers. Now I understand that Chopper's a great doctor. Emu clean cut her hands, like clean cut, like that should be like a disfigurement for like the right, like that should be like a memory, like, oh no, that Emu shit wasn't sweet, was it? Like with Stanson, like Stanson got his leg cut off. Stanson's here, so Stanson's just honky dory. Because because the great powerful Emu didn't account for Chopper. All right, Oda. All right, my nigga. All right. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of when Dory and Broggy beheaded each other, and I thought that they were just taking like a really mature, interesting turn with this manga series. And then they just literally revived 2 seconds later, like, oh, everything's great. Tricked your mind. Everything's solid. Like, wow, it's fine. It's not fine. I would like for some more steaks. That's not allowed to ask for. Sorry, it sounds like I'm at a fucking like Outback demanding that my waiter, brings me a sufficient succulent Chinese meal. So bring me more steaks. No, but yeah, it's fine. I mean, I really need to know if Stanson's legs is fixed. If Stanson's leg is fixed, then maybe. If it's not fixed, then maybe I can let it go. But if it is fixed, I'm like, so Emu didn't do anything. Emu did nothing, basically. That's fine. I have the right to feel like that. Rodo gets some credit for saving his little brother, or like his stepbrother, half brother. Who fucking cares? Not important. That was cool until he did a Sanji in Fishman Island moment, and he shot blood from his nose and broke his head on the floor, with his legs cocked up like some kind of idiot. So that was Roto. That was Roto for this chapter. We see quickly Goldberg. Goldberg, he's carrying Zoro. They're kind of just talking about the severity of the situation, and Zoro apologizes for having to be carried, but he wouldn't really be getting that far without the help of a giant, right? And Goldberg acknowledges, I'm the only nigga not injured on my team, so I really don't mind. Really implying that Chopper healed and patched up. Oh my god. This nigga Chopper healed, patched up, and recovered every single member of the New Giant Pirates. So basically, any piece of damage has just been reversed by Chopper. And mind you, Gerd can't just start swinging on, hooking off on niggas, because Chopper did say a couple of months. But her thumbs aren't gone. Like if Emu set off some massive attack that like broke some guy's arm in half, I mean, it's not like that anymore. So I don't know. Maybe the feat of Emu doing it alone is enough for some fans, but me personally, I'm like, it didn't really stick to the wall when you threw it, did it? So I don't like, how was it impressive? Was it impressive? Whatever. But basically, Zoro, says that if everything keeps happening at the rate it's happening and they don't get a grapple on things, everything's gonna be a lot harder to figure out. Spoiler alert, my nigga, it's already bad. Hey Zoro, hey, it's already bad, gang. Things are already as bad as they can be. What I will say is Zoro definitely has the possibility to beat one of these Holy Knights. I don't know if he can beat two of them. I don't know if a third one's gonna pop up, because they do discuss the whereabouts of Gunko later in this chapter, so she's not just an afterthought. Again, the idea of Emu just crafting another Holy Knight on the spot due to a Dharma reverse or some shit, that's not impossible, right? So I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what we're going to be dealing with the big three kind of being so over encumbered, like as I feel like they are. I don't know. This really does get into the conversation of like some of the Straw Hats should have hockey. They should have some kind of upgrades, because man, it feels like a lot that both Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro have to handle, right? Because Loki's kind of doing his own thing, but I think we all know that Loki isn't going to be the one to put this nigga Emu in the dirt. That's not gonna, come on, right? So with that, it's like I'm not really as worried about Loki, but I'm not really that involved. I'm more involved with the big three, and I really do feel like through the Dami Reversi, through to the Abyss and the summonings, right, through to these upgrades, and Luffy not exactly even being on the playing field yet, Zoro and Sanji are really just, they're holding a lot of this weight. And I don't know if that's just me feeling like that, but I don't know. It definitely seems like Zoro is doing a good amount of the heavy lifting right there with Sanji, and for lack of a better word, Luffy is going to pick up his pace in a second, but I mean, it's not in this chapter. I don't want to excite anybody. Or next week, because it is a break next week. Let me tell all of you that now. But it does seem like a lot of this situation is being handled by the two wings of the Pirate King, and I think that's dope. That's cool. That's fun. Listen, we don't see Jinbei this chapter, okay? We don't get some flash to Yamato arriving on some massive. No, it's just Sanji and Zoro, and I think that's cool. That for the most part, they're making everything work with what they have. Again, Summers is just bullshitting, talking about everything. Again, he does discuss that Emu should not be out of its a corporeal form, right? But it just is what it is. It's what happened, right? And now Emu has to basically find a way to stay alive. That's essentially what Summers alludes to. After Summers discusses that they have to finish the Marizwal files, and they got to finish kidnapping all the little niggas, right? Killing him, he cuts in the frame more or less, and he says, yo, So I may have done something, and Emu's like, you're fucking not in Emu. And Summers is like, you moron, you asshole, that can kill the both of us. Why would you do that? And they basically argue for a little bit, and Killing Him says, relax, I can control it, probably. I can control it, probably. It is a dream demon, right? But you know, it's very funny. It's very funny because I didn't think that the Holy Knights had the had the ability to feel fear. Or like you know, they do kind of get a little shook when the Great One look at me glazing this nigga Emu, like when Emu shows up, right? But you know, it's not like they're like, oh my god, we're gonna die. It's like, why the fuck is John in the bar? John was supposed to be watching the car. That's the kind of vibe like Summers has. The vibe when he hears that this being has been summoned, it's like, okay, so you want me to not have a life, you want me to not have a pulse anymore. That's basically what you want neither of us to have a pulse anymore. You know what? That's basically what he's saying right now. And it's interesting, right? Because we do see the size of it, you know, like this demon form. It kidnaps Colin, it kidnaps the kids. And, you know, we hear that there's massive rains and flooding in the giant village. And I just want to put things into perspective, right? Elbaf doesn't get giant weather, right? Their weather isn't like, oh, Elbaf clouds and Elbaf rain. Like, no, it's just normal nigga shit. Like, it's really nothing too insane. So for them to say that they're being flooded by rain, that's like, I want to put this into perspective. It's at least half of the Pacific Ocean. So I want you to imagine for 2 seconds. Maybe you are, I don't know, a small 5'10" nigga from Baltimore, right? If you are in Elbaf and you are arguably the size of any of the Straw Hats, you are now at danger of being put under something the size of at least 1/4 to half of the Pacific Ocean. That's not hyperbole. That's not hyperbole. This is Elbaf. Enough rain to flood Elbaf. Perspective, lady. It's all about perspective, ladies and gentlemen. And eventually, we do see this massive dream demon. It is titled Zaza. It is a woman that kind of resembles Vivi. I'm not gonna hold y'all. Kind of resembles Vivi. That is why I believe that this form, this dream demon, it is going to see Nika. It is going to see Luffy and go, Nika, oh my, like, it's gonna be like a kind of like, bro, what the fuck, we didn't plan for this wasn't in the plans, right? And I definitely think if Zoro and Sanji, as I said before, get a bit too over encumbered and they start ending up on the losing foot of this battle, they start getting on their back foot, you know, like they're starting to be on the losing half of this battle, Nika coming in, and Luffy, obviously, right, that is going to kind of just disappear, or maybe have the self, or maybe have the dream and self-actualize or something. Listen, something is going to happen when the rain god, because that is what this is, prescribed as, right? Killing Him tells a story of, people who live above the clouds, never even dreaming about being hit by rainfall, right? But they've heard stories not only about the D-Clan and Nika, but about a fearsome goddess, right, that rains down from above, right? And it is titled Zaza. And it is the rain god. It is the thing that we've heard way back when, all the way in Sky Peel, right? Like these are the pieces of our story finally coming together. Now, do I think that somebody will have the Zaza fruit? Yes. I do not know who, and I do not know when. Somebody will have the Zaza fruit very soon. I can assure all of you of that. But there's not really a lot else. We see the reveal of this dream demon. Very cool double spread, very cool backdrop. But I really do want more information. Until we get more information, I'm not just gonna, start fucking, doing cartwheels on it. You know what I mean? This is a very 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 chapter for me, though. Personally, I had a lot of fun reading this, and I think that even though the stakes aren't exactly what I need them to be, I can definitely say that Emu was a very formidable foe, and the qualities of the Holy Knights, not only being what they are on their face, because again, Summers and Killingham, they're not scrubs. The Straw Hats are just kind of cracked in their abilities, right? them being elevated to what they are, Superfly, this dream demon thing connecting everything with Nika and Loki. It's very cool, very, very cool. And I'm very impressed. Your boy is very impressed. All right, that was everything that your boy had for chapter 1182 of One Piece. All right, I hope everyone has a great one. However you catch this, whenever you catch this. I do have a lot of other stuff going up for the rest of the week. Not only including this Backlash and Fairway to Heaven situation, but a little bit of ROH, a little bit of SmackDown. All right, and guarantee you all of you that. Maybe with some playoff stuff, huh? Playoffs sounds fun. All right, so I'll leave all of you with that. All right, and as I always say, all right, hope all of you stay healthy, hydrated, and stay safe. Stay tuned, stay beautiful. Peace.